In this video, we're gonna dive into 90s editorial design. I'm gonna share 4 main characteristics of it so you can not only spot it out in the wild, but also use it and use it well. This is just the essential info that you need to design in the classic style, as well as its very popular, more modern rendition. Because while it grew up in the late 80s and early 90s for print purposes specifically, it's been making a huge comeback lately in branding, social media, all over clothing and merch. I mean, look at this shirt from H&M, just straight up editorial. So at this point, you should probably know how to use it for yourself, and I'd say it's a pretty essential style. So let's break it down. And of course, I'll show you examples of these with each point so you can grab templates and fonts and try it out yourself. So let's get into it. Number 1, layouts. Simple, minimalist, but they pack a very aesthetically pleasing punch, most of that magic being done from the typography. Usually, and just usually, you've got 3 main ingredients: a short, direct title, 1 or 2 lines, a central object or subject, and however much supporting text is just required to make the total design feel balanced out. The composition is clean, nothing crammed right up against the edges, and often a single cutout image takes the center stage. Small tip, it's really helpful to find images that are already isolated on a clean background, maybe just the color white, to cut out, or asking AI to generate your image on a white background, or depending on what you're using to generate your images, you can even ask AI to give it to you without the background included, just a transparent PNG. And drop shadows do show up occasionally, but really just in today's modern version of this style. But the important note here is that the shadows are very subtle. It's more about adding depth than like really being kind of dramatic. We want to avoid the late 90s, early 2000s kind of webcore shadow look. So if you're giving this a try, don't use anything too dark or offset. The layout's real strength comes from how spacious it feels while still drawing your eye exactly where it's meant to go. And if this is for clothing or accessories, tote bag, whatever, I would just nix the shadow just completely altogether. Just don't do that. You might also see some asymmetrical balance taken to the extreme. This complements the overall clean, minimalist composition. You'd see this a lot and still do with sports brands like Nike, Air Jordan, and Adidas. So it's perfect to draw your eye from a sleek looking shoe to the text broadcasting a sale or something. That being said, let's go to number 2, which is high impact photography. This was a decade of bold, stylized photo shoots. In a 90s editorial layout, a clean, professional image is typically very predominantly featured, like you see here. And images can fill the entire canvas or be isolated without a background at all, like we were mentioning before. So think product or object photography with clean edges, a natural color that harmonizes with your palette, no neon, and no high gloss stuff. And here's a tip for designing in the modern adaptations of the style. The subject doesn't really overlap the headline. I mean, you can do that if you want, it's kind of personal preference, but typically type and image are separated so that the negative space does the talking in the design. And while that's most common styling for images during the late 80s and early 90s, photographers were also playing with dramatic lighting, shadows, and motion blur, so you might see this as well. It just kind of helps with the impact. Now, before talking about text specifically, which is arguably the most important element of this style just altogether, let's talk about color palettes. Because this style grew up specifically for print, you're channeling the CMYK mindset, just using CMYK colors, not really just bright RGB, which if you're designing anything to be printed, you're gonna wanna stay in CMYK land anyway. Most executions are two-toned, typically off-white or cream backgrounds paired with a soft black type. We'll get into that later. And the occasional muted accent tone. Or sometimes a color is used for the text in the entire image like you can see here. Muted tones work best and are just overall easier on the eyes. When you're working with the classic black and white option, you're gonna wanna go for an off-white instead of just pure white, because straight pure white is just too cold and digital, while off-white is easier on the eyes, aligns better with that classic print look. And here's a little pro tip for you, just in my experience. Shift your black slightly up from true black to a softer ink on paper vibe. You're gonna wanna do this because a warmer off black effect happens naturally with print, like if you were going to print something, it's not actually true black. So this little adjustment will give you a traditional print aesthetic. But I'm curious, so let me know in the comments, do you prefer this nice off black or just solid black? Or does that not even matter to you? Personally, I never really use true black unless it's just the background of a design. So a little tip for building a palette, start with a cream color or a very light soft yellow, pair it with an off black, and then choose one desaturated accent color like a lavender, kind of like a desaturated forest green, or a blue for small lines or micro copy in the design. And if you want to get wild, you can throw a bold red in there. Since you can actually print red pretty close to RGB, it was very commonly used as an accent color. Keep the contrast high. And if you want to mimic duotone print, limit your accent colors to small elements, not your text. But here's another tip for you. If you're stumped on a palette, but have seen one you like in Kittl or on Pinterest or Instagram, literally anywhere, all you need to do is screenshot or save that image and drop it into your project. And then I'll show you what to do here. Just get the eyedropper tool and pull out the colors. Or you can use the color palette generator to just select an image, boom, all your colors are pulled out of the photo. One click and you're done. It's a super easy way to build a tried and true palette that you already know works because you're looking at the design that's using that palette. And maybe you can make your own, little adjustments to the tone from there. And finally, my favorite, let's go, the typography. 90s editorial type was a major part of the entire composition. Headlines could be huge, taking up half of the spread, and are often paired with complementary, very small type. Designers use serif and sans serif, or very commonly both, in one composition. And sometimes even just the same headline as in the first letter is a sans serif while the rest of the text is serif. This is more common for like modern renditions though. It also was and is common for these words to be broken apart multiple lines just for visual impact. I mean, think about it. If the individual lines are shorter horizontally, the bigger you can make your text vertically, thus taking up more space, and that's kind of the point. And for posters and magazine designs that are all mostly vertical, this works perfectly. Fonts were typically condensed and tall or bold and blocky. It depended on the use case, like a luxury fashion magazine may use a tall and condensed font, while a more grungy music magazine might opt for a bold and blocky look. But they were condensed for a reason. It meant that the text could be bigger, like I was talking about before, and it was a central part of the composition. That's why a condensed sans serif font is probably the most popular choice here. And because I already know you're gonna ask, if you're looking for a font that does this really, really well, check out Fira Sans or Futura Condensed. It's a perfect go-to that'll give you that classic 90s editorial look, and it's free to use in Kittl, along with a ton of other font options that just nail this look. But hold that thought, hold that thought, because if you haven't already tried Kittl, you can sign up for free with just an email and start designing right away. But if you're an experienced designer and maybe doing some projects that you're getting paid for here and there, we still have a promo code for you in the description to get a percentage off a pro Kittl plan. So definitely check that out. I need some water, goodness. But back to the point at hand. Sometimes for magazine spreads, designers broke the traditional reading order altogether and broke up these blocks of text, meaning you'd have to scan around the page or even go to the next page to find out the next word. And that was kind of the point because the composition pulled you in. You were engaging with the layout, not just absorbing it passively and then just tossing it to the side. And if you want to replicate that today, play with your typography style. Serif, sans serif, or both, as well as your text size, spacing, and placement. All of these components are very important, not just to this style, but just pretty much just design in general. This is a design that I made, and you can use this template in Kittl, totally free. But I specifically played around with font pairings here to match the look that I'm talking about, and I could see this doing very well on a tote bag or on a t-shirt, maybe a front and back kind of deal. So you can use this for free and steal my layout or font combo or just change the words, just take it. It's complete, just take it. Take it and run away.
Oh, she's stealing!
The fonts in here for your reference are Instrument Serif, Monsieur, Archivo, and Roboto. Is 4 fonts too many here? I don't know. But it looks good, so I don't really care that much. Let me know in the comments what you think and if you're gonna steal it. Or if you don't like it, I guess you're entitled to your own opinion. You can comment and say that you don't like it either. Another font that works really well for this style, that's another personal favorite, is Scheherazade. So nostalgic and 90s, it's just really, really great. I love it. But again, you can use these or check out some more templates that have some awesome font pairings in Kittl. Or if you already have a font that you love working with, you can actually upload that to Kittl and use that as well. We actually have a video where I show you how to pair fonts with photos based on the aesthetic aesthetic and mood if you want to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of that. So check that out if you're really interested. But I think it'd be really helpful here as you make your own designs using imagery. All right, and before I wrap up, I just want to quickly emphasize why and where you should be using this style. It's clean, it's modern, and it's just good. It is just good. It's really good at teaching the basics and the fundamentals of design because it doesn't really have a lot of different components, and it's really going to teach you about sizing, spacing, composition, margins, just across the board. It's very nice. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Use it. Today, you'll see the 90s editorial influence all across fashion branding, album covers, event posters, and like I said, all over clothing and merch. Literally, it's just everywhere. And it looks fire, and that's exactly what you should be using it for. And one final tip for you, if you want more inspiration, you can do what I do and just go over to Pinterest or Cosmos and search 90s editorial design or posters or poster design and see what results come up. You can use these as a reference. I even just screenshot them and literally drop them into my project so I can reference them right there in front of my face while I'm designing and not just jump between tabs. Having that endless canvas and those multiple artboards dragging stuff on and off is very helpful. So if you find yourself, switching between tabs endlessly, this is perfect advice for you. So give it a try for yourself. If you jump into Kittl, you'll find tons of templates that lean into this style. Unlike Pinterest, you can actually edit these. And through these templates, you can actually find and copy the font combos they use, or maybe pull out some elements and use them for your own designs. Just search Editorial and Kittl in the template section. Some are free, some you need a paid plan, but you can customize these however you want. All right, well, that is 90s editorial design for you. I'd really love to know what you think about this design style because it's one of my favorites. So please let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the Kittl YouTube channel. This helps us out a ton so we can make more videos. It also means that you won't miss the next design style deep dive, and we have a lot coming up. So hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.